Let's talk about Ripley. No, not Ellen Ripley, the first officer of the commercial towing vehicle Nostromo. You know, the one that was aggravated by this guy on several occasions. No, let's talk about Robert Ripley. Believe it or not, that strange collection of facts that startle, titillate, and boggle the mind. Full name, Leroy Robert Ripley, born on February 22, 1890 in Santa Rosa, California. Young Bobby dropped out of high school following his father's death in order to help support his family. He had a talent for drawing, and he started working as a sports cartoonist for various newspapers. Besides sports, he was fascinated by things like unusually shaped vegetables and oddly marked domestic animals, all documented by photographs and then depicted by his drawings. In 1913, he moved to New York City, where he cartooned for the New York Globe, and it was there that he created his first Believe It or Not feature, and that was published in December of 1918. He eventually got the attention of William Randolph Hearst, the newspaper mogul, and got his work syndicated in 17 newspapers to start. He took his first world tour in 1922 and chronicled his adventures in newspapers and newsreels. His features were so popular that he earned over $500,000 a year. During the Depression, he was named the most popular man in America by the New York Times, and Dartmouth College awarded him an honorary degree. Now, those newspaper features eventually expanded to radio, motion pictures, and television, and brick and mortar attractions in several cities. Ripley's first museum, the Auditorium, was opened in Chicago in 1933. The concept was a great success, and at one point there were auditoriums in San Diego, Dallas, Cleveland, San Francisco, and New York City. Later, his television show was hosted by Jack Palance, who was a bit odd himself. Here are some of Ripley's favorites.
Believe it or not.
Robespierre. Now, this guy was responsible for thousands of beheadings after the French Revolution. He once resigned as a judge because he didn't believe in capital punishment. Good to know he had a conscience. 100,000 men kissed the face of Field Marshal Count Wrangel, who served in the German army as a general for 50 years. Actually, they kissed his portrait when they graduated from military school, and there's no record of what he thought about this. David Hunt was a millionaire owner of 25 plantations back in the 19th century. He had an aversion to signing checks for even amounts. Now, if the bill was $10,000, he'd make out the check for $9,999.99, not $10,000.01. How do you think he got all that money? In 2012, Rebecca Sprate of Daytona City, Nebraska, sold a 3-year-old chicken nugget thought to resemble George Washington for $8,100 on eBay. McDonald's sued for copyright infringement, but they lost the case. And the person who purchased the artistic nugget was committed to the Omaha Hospital for the Clinically Insane, where he resides to this day. The great German composer, Ludwig von Beethoven, was so scruffy in his appearance that he was once mistaken for a tramp and arrested for vagrancy. You know, anybody that can compose this type of music should be allowed to roam the streets naked. Here's a very special person Ripley featured in one of his cartoons. Now, I swear I've seen this guy before. Befitting his curious nature, Ripley himself was a bit of an anomaly. On one occasion, Ripley was found working only in his bathrobe and wearing his dead mother's wedding ring. He owned a fish who could only swim backwards, a shrunken head from Tibet, and a whale penis. He could not drive, and he seemingly amassed a number of women from around the world to live with him in what might be described as a harem. Ripley's housekeeper said the most unusual thing about the Ripley house was Mr. Ripley. Bless his heart. Robert Ripley died in 1949, and as a final tribute, I bring you this. In 1929, Ripley discovered that we didn't have a national anthem, officially. He brought the fact to the government's attention, and in 1931, President Herbert Hoover made it official. So, Robert Ripley is responsible for our national anthem. Believe it or not.